Hey guys, we're back for day 4 of talking about the main idea, so let's get into it. Today we are going to be able to identify the main idea in multiple short texts, in multiple separate paragraphs. So today we're going to be talking about nonfiction as well as some fiction paragraphs, and it's important to remember that the main idea is in all kinds of paragraphs and all kinds of texts, right? Not just fiction and not just nonfiction. So you guys will need your pen or pencil, you'll need your paper, and you will also need the answers from yesterday's quiz that was attached, talking about that Lizzo reading. Let's start off as usual with our review. These are just true-false questions. So what I would like you guys to do is, I'm going to read these out loud and I want you to write down true or false. Do you think this statement is true or false? And if it helps, you can label 1, 2, and 3 on your paper. So our first statement is, main ideas include complicated descriptions and lots of details. Do you think that's a true statement or a false statement? Number 2 says, main ideas are always stated directly in the text. Is that a true statement or a false statement? And finally, we have main ideas are only found in nonfiction texts. Is that a true or false statement? All right, so if you are a highly intelligent individual, then you would know that all 3 of these statements are false. So, main ideas usually don't include a lot of complicated descriptions and details, right? They're just enough information. We talked about that Goldilocks kind of metaphor. It's not too much, it's not too little, it's just enough for a main idea statement. The second one says they're always stated directly in the text. We know that's not true. They certainly can be, but they're not always stated directly. Sometimes we have to infer them, right? And finally, are they only found in nonfiction texts? No. We're going to do some of that today, and we're going to talk about that more later on as well, but I did mention that in the beginning of this lesson, right? So, let's review Lizzo's quiz answers from yesterday. The first question said, which of these sentences shows the author's opinion of Lizzo? So the answer here is A. A would be the opinion statement. The other statements that are there are not opinions, those are facts taken from the article, right? So those would be some supporting details if we were going to write a main idea. For number 2, it's asking you to read, and then how is the author most likely to respond to what Lizzo did in this selection? This is, again, we're doing some inferring here, which is always just a good skill to practice in general. The answer for number 2 here is D. The author would celebrate the fact that Lizzo adapted and continued her performance. The other 3 don't really agree with the tone of the article. D is our best fit. Moving on to number 3, where again we're reading a selection and asking for a summary of the selection this time. So our summary here would be C. C might also be able to function as the main idea of that selection. So I know that you guys have talked about summarizing before. So summarizing is also a good strategy to kind of figure out what your main idea might be. And finally, we have question 4, which sentence from the article supports a main idea from the article? This one is D. And if I'm not mistaken, D was one of our main ideas from yesterday. So, should have been an easy one for you to get, but if not, that's okay, now you know. And let's move on to today. We're going to keep on rolling with the multiple choice questions, like I said. So we are going to read this passage. So the first 2, I'm going to read the passage with you. The second 2, I'm going to leave you to your own devices to read and answer them so that we can level up with our ability to find these main ideas. So, our first paragraph says, the ability to vote is one of the most important rights in a democracy. People should be able to vote easily, and voting laws should be written to make sure that the largest number of people are able to vote. Voting stations should be easy to get to, and should be open early enough and late enough so that everyone has time to vote. So, we are now asking, what is the subject of the passage? Is it the ability to vote, A? The ability to vote is an important right, B? voting stations should be easy to get to, C, or people should be able to vote easily, D. What do you think? So A would be our best answer here. B, C, and D are a little too specific. So when we're talking about a subject, we want it to be more broad, right? So B, C, and D are all examples given in the paragraph, right, of the author's opinion, but the subject of the paragraph is the ability to vote. So let's move on to number 2. So number 2 is a fiction paragraph. So I'm going to read it with you, and then it is asking us for the main idea this time. So keep in mind, what do you think might be the main idea as I'm reading this paragraph with you? Okay. Federica sat in the back of the cab watching her new city go by. Nothing around her felt like home. Home was a house at the very end of a sloping dirt road with no one else around for miles. Home was the sound of wind through grass and trees and the calls of animals at night. Home was peaceful, and Federica liked it that way. Home was not what whizzed past her window now. Soaring glass buildings, traffic in the streets, the sound of cars rushing past, and so many people talking, always talking. This place is chaos, Federica thought. I'll never get used to this. Girl, she going through it. Okay, so the main idea of the passage is that Federica sat in the back of the cab watching her new city go by. Federica doesn't feel at home in her new city. A girl named Federica, or sometimes people must get used to new ways of life. A, B, C, or D. What do you think? If you wrote down B, you are very correct. So B is a really good main idea because it just captures everything, right? So A is a detail, it's kind of what's going on. D is an opinion, and C is who the paragraph is about, but it's certainly not the main idea, right? So B is our best answer. And some of these examples, right, are some of our supporting details, would be the traffic in the streets. All these people are talking all the time. Her home was at the end of a dirt road, and now she's surrounded by all these buildings and things like that. So all of these are supporting our main idea that she does not feel at home in her new city. So that was our first fiction paragraph here, and our second is about a girl named Serena. So I'm going to let you read this paragraph and read the question and answers to yourself and see if you can't figure out which detail best supports the main idea. Here they've given the main idea to you. Our main idea is Serena enjoys searching for shells and other creatures on the beach. Okay, fair enough. So, A, talking about her crossing the beach, kind of related, not really. B has nothing to do with the main idea at all. It's just kind of helping us with our setting, right? C, also kind of helping us with our setting, nothing to really do with searching for shells. But D, hello. D has direct examples about the shells and other creatures that she might be searching for on the beach. D is our best answer because of it's giving us direct examples, direct supporting details for our main idea. Finally, we have a nonfiction text, and I'm going to do the same thing as before, where I'm going to just give you the paragraph and the question, and we'll go over it together at the end. So this one is asking you for the main idea of this nonfiction paragraph. All right, so did you write down A, B, C, or D? Which one do you think is correct? A would be our best answer for a main idea of this nonfiction paragraph. B would be kind of like the topic or one of the topics that's mentioned in the paragraph. C is a supporting detail, maybe, or another kind of topic-related thing. D might be a good main idea if the passage was more focused on Lent, but it's not, right? It's talking about Mardi Gras. A, Mardi Gras is an annual festival in New Orleans during which people can enjoy themselves before Lent. that seems to be our best main idea sentence, right? So this is what the author wants us to take away, is that Mardi Gras is an annual festival, right? During which people can enjoy themselves, and that's supported with the details in our paragraph, right? The details like Mardi Gras happens the week before Lent, a Christian holiday, and Mardi Gras is their last chance to do the things they enjoy before Lent. This would be our best fit, would be all right. That was a lot of practice all at once, but I hope that was helpful for you. We're going to do our hashtags again. Today, the hashtag is awkward prom story. So I don't know if you guys have older siblings that were supposed to have prom this year and it got canceled, and it's so sad. But hopefully these awkward prom stories are a sign that at least you didn't have this happen to you, right? The first one that we have, took a quick cat nap and overslept prom for 3 hours. My date was a little upset. Hashtag awkward prom story. Yeah, I think I'd be a little upset too, right? Oof. Our second tweet. My date told me she all of a sudden didn't like dancing anymore. Awkward prom story. Hashtag she was on the dance team. Yeah, that's... poor kid. And finally, the guy asked me to prom in the middle of government class, and everyone booed when I said no. Awkward for everyone involved. Hashtag awkward prom story. All right, so let's go over what we learned today. Our main idea of our lesson today was that our supporting details can help us find our main idea, but it's important to not get those two confused, and that our best supporting details are ones that directly relate to our main idea. So remember that passage about Serena, we had a lot of details as options, but our best supporting detail was the one that directly related to the content in the main idea. Our vocab today, we had the main idea, we had our topic/subject, we talked about supporting details and ideas. These are all paragraphs that we read, and we read both fiction and nonfiction. If you want to have a little more of a follow-up, you can watch this YouTube video that should be attached. This guy is like singing, rapping about what a main idea is. The song kind of slaps, so might be helpful. Give it a listen, and I will see you right back here tomorrow for our final day of main idea learning. Bye.